Miles Kristen on the line from just outside Madison. Hello, Miles.
Hello, Marc.
All right. I want to play you something from yesterday. This was on Fox. This was on Laura Ingram's report with the guy from Trafalgar polling.
Robert, you have exclusive new polling for us tonight. The main takeaways are that Trump is maintaining his lead over Biden in Florida, that Trump is just 2% off Biden in Nevada. And you say there's a surprising group propping up Trump. Who is that?
Yeah, what we're seeing with the Hispanics and the black vote, and now the youth vote starting to move. The Hispanic numbers in both states is 41 for Trump, and the African American number in Nevada, I believe, was 20, and 27 in Florida. And then the youth vote is starting to move. And what they're telling us is they're moving about lockdowns. That, there's a lockdown candidate, and there's a let's get back to business candidate. And it's not a matter of safety. There's this feeling that we can operate, we can wear the mask, we can wash our hands, but let's get back to it. And young people, what they saw in that debate was there's a guy who wants to lock them down again.
Right. And so to underscore that is this idea that Lil Wayne now supporting Trump. So Miles, what's going on in Wisconsin? Does that reflect what this individual with Trafalgar just said?
Well, Wisconsin is actually the third worst state in the country right now for the COVID cases. And so on one hand, you could say, that's upsetting to a lot of people, and that might change the way they vote. And then you could also say with that level of fear out there about COVID, maybe some people aren't going to go out and vote. Maybe they didn't do an absentee ballot or early voting, and so maybe they're just might not feel safe going out and voting at all.
All right. Well, what about Minnesota? I mean, right next door to you, right? Geographically speaking, I'm thinking.
I really, really don't see Minnesota going for
flipping?
Trump. In 1984, when Mondale lost every state in the entire, he was a Democratic candidate, and when he lost every state in the entire country except Minnesota.
Well, that was his home state.
Stayed blue.
That was his home state, though, Miles. Yeah, so he held on to his home state, and that was it. So, but yeah, I think
there's a lot of things that relate to that '84 campaign. As right now, you have a Republican president running for re-election. That time around, it was Ronald Reagan, and then Mondale was the guy. He was the VP candidate of 1980, and he was running with a woman named Geraldine Ferraro.
Geraldine Ferraro. Yeah, they went after her as being mob connected. So the GOP destroyed her. It was disgusting in a way, but I'm really glad that Reagan won that election and did so handily. But here's Biden going to Minnesota today. So I thought these guys were all about flipping Texas, and now he's spending the last couple of days, just a few days left before the election, and this guy's going to Minnesota to try and shore up support there. Hillary only won it by 45,000 votes in 2016. So really, I mean, Trump almost won it, almost flipped it in 2016. And guess what? A lot of people in Minnesota, especially when you look at the black vote now and Hispanics, saying, you know what? We like the fact that Trump wants to reopen our economy. We're sick of these governors, these Democrat governors wanting to lock us up. What do you think?
Well, I mean, gosh, that's the question there is if Biden could theoretically flip Texas, or if Trump could maybe somehow flip California. I mean, California, for instance, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor there only 15 years ago. And, California and Texas are the two biggest states.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that California is in play here? Because I have not heard that at all, as far as I know.
The thing is, I mean, the polls are so inaccurate and you think of how many people are leaving California right now and how bad it's gotten in California. I mean, we talk about these 4 or 5 states that, could go either way, that were unexpected in 2016 that Trump won. But I mean, if Texas or California were to somehow flip from what they are, I mean, that throws the whole race off. And,
I'll trade Texas for California. I'll take the 55
on Tuesday because it might be like the year 2000 where it goes on for another month in the courts.
Yeah, I think it's 55 electoral seats in California. So that's the crown, and that's the jewel in the crown for the Democrats. If the Republicans got anywhere near flipping, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's a bridge too far. But I think Minnesota's in play. I think Nevada is in play. I think New Mexico over fracking. Miles, I'm hearing that there's a lot of people worried about this oil ban proposed by the Biden camp. Yeah, he's flipped all over the place. One day he's saying he's going to ban fracking. The next day he's saying we're not going to ban fracking. I think, people in New Mexico, certainly in Texas, are not prepared to gamble their jobs over bringing in a guy who's going to be manipulated by the far left wing of the Democrat Party into imposing this Green New Deal and absolutely gutting the energy industry in the United States. I mean, how big? Go ahead.
What's so darn ironic about the Green New Deal is every other sentence in the Green New Deal says union jobs this, union jobs that. Well, it turns out that the AFL-CIO and other big unions are very much in support of fracking and oil drilling and the Dakota Access Pipeline and so forth. So the entire Green New Deal just doesn't make any sense. Plus, AOC's Green New Deal is a ripoff of the Jill Stein Green New Deal, and it's just catchy slogans.
But she's not running this time. Crap. She's not running this time, but there is a libertarian candidate. Is it Joe Jorgensen or Jorgensen, or I don't know how you pronounce his name?
Joe Jorgensen is the Libertarian Party
you're a libertarian.
And then there's a guy from the Green Party named Howie Hawkins.
Okay.
Howie Hawkins is going to get maybe 1 or 2%. Joe Jorgensen, I don't think will get far beyond 3%. I think the Greens and Libertarians are going to do really, really bad in this election. And the question is, those who voted for Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, literally 2012 and 2016, who are they going to vote for this year? And I think a lot more of them are going to vote for Biden from the Greens, and some of them from the Libertarians will vote for Trump. But then how many Trump voters from 2016 are going to vote for the Libertarians? And those third-party voters, that's really, you're talking about 4 or 5 million people.
Okay, so what about your black friends? Are they talking about voting Trump, or are they going to stick with the Dems?
I don't know. I can't think of any of my black friends who are voting for Biden, but
your black friends are not going to vote for Biden? Like Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne just came out. Did you hear? So Chelsea Handler is ready to throw herself off a building. Over the first it was 50 Cent. Now it's Lil Wayne. What's going on with these rappers? And I'm wondering if that is translating into support from, say, amongst African Americans in Wisconsin. What are you hearing?
Well, I think that when the major rappers, want to vote conservative, it's probably because they're sick of getting taxed and, seeing their income go away like that, and especially since they live in
and what is it with these racist white liberal women trying to put the black man in his place with Chelsea Handler, going after 50 Cent? 50 Cent came out and said, well, I'm tired of these left-wing advocates pushing for higher taxes. I'm 50 Cent. I don't want to be 20 Cent. Chelsea Handler comes out saying, hey, don't forget, you're black. Well, what kind of a racist statement is that? Saying, you're black, so that means you have to vote Democrat. Well, no, you can't tell me how to vote, and don't tell me that I have to support one party or another based on my skin color. That is absolutely racist.
You got to listen to Bill Burr. I mean, just Bill Burr in general, but Bill Burr's monologue a couple weeks back from SNL when he says how white women have hijacked the woke movement and made it their own thing. And I've had more white women refer to me as a straight white guy on camera over the last couple years than anybody else, and it's like, policies matter more than anything. Like, judge me for my policies that I believe in, or, things like that. Don't just look at me and make this,
Yeah, but they think it's an insult, though, Miles.
I look like this, so therefore I'm that.
They think that's an insult. They think calling you a straight white guy is an insult. That is an attack against you. It's not like, well, first of all, who gives a rat's ass what my sexual orientation is or what my skin color is? What did Martin Luther King say? Martin Luther King thinks is, judge me on the strength of my character, the quality of my character, not the color of my skin. Fast forward to 2020, and you got these white liberals, many of them women, saying, no, I'm going to judge you on the fact that you're a heterosexual male who happens to be white. I mean, what the hell happened to Martin Luther King's message?
It's the complete. I agree 100% that it's the complete opposite. I mean, we should assess what people believe in and what they stand for, and listen to people. Don't just make these preconceived notions. Well, you look like this, so therefore you must be that. I mean, I was literally telling my wife yesterday. It's like anytime I were to go to Madison and show up to one of those socialist, whatever sort of protests, and just be there filming, just simply filming, people would give me these dirty looks like, oh, there's that libertarian guy, there's that dirty capitalist, and it's like, you don't know anything about me, or don't make these preconceived notions.
All right, how are you going to vote? You can tell our listeners today? You're going to keep it to yourself, or have you already voted?
I voted yesterday, and I wanted to vomit immediately after. Oh God, I've been afraid to tell you because. And I hope you don't hate me forever. I did. I
voted for Biden?
I voted for Biden out of this simple fear about COVID. When it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to everything else, I would probably agree with Trump more on most issues. I mean, he's better on foreign policy. He's less aggressive on military interventions. I mean, there's plenty of issues I disagree with Trump on, and I would have never voted for Biden, ever, if it wasn't for the fact that this might mean more testing and more solutions as far as the COVID crisis. And I absolutely
You got suckered, my friends. I'm sorry to say that. You got suckered. But listen, thank you for coming on the show. And listen, can you come back next week?
Yes, you're not going to ban me for voting for Biden.
No, of course not. You know what? I need your perspective. I need your perspective.
You and I can have good conversations, and that's what this country and this planet needs more,
Absolutely. Well, if I'm not an American, if I was, I would certainly vote for Trump. But alas, all we can do is cheer for Trump on this side of the border. I dare say most Canadians are probably with you saying, yeah, good for you. You did the right thing, Miles. From my vantage point, not a good idea. We need somebody who's going to fight for freedom, not somebody who's in bed with the Chinese and who's going to sell us out. But thank you once again for coming on the show, Miles.
Thank you.
All right, quick time out. Back with our final scintillating segment of the week after this.
Stream us live at saga960am.ca.